Beautiful. Can I just start with acknowledging the late great Robert Wall's, significant contribution that man made to, AFL football in general, but look, having a little bit to do with the man. So to the Walls family, we pass on our condolences as a footy club, and wish them the utmost respect for his passing. So, beautiful.
Jimmy, you must have been thrilled with coming back in the fourth quarter once you'd been headed.
Yeah, it was an amazing game of footy. Like, even just sitting there watching it as coach, it was back and forth, and both sides, I'd say, had been pretty well fatigued by the end of it. And there's some things that we did really well, and then there's some things defensively that we let slip, and a lot of it was related to our offence. So, the game interconnects, so they were getting goals through that middle portion of the second and third quarter that we knew how to stop. We just couldn't quite get the game on our terms to allow our defence to catch up. So there's been some really good learnings out of our system stuff for that game tonight.
You've wanted since the start of the season to create this identity. Do you feel like you've got it? We've seen a few examples now of that sort of resilience when it gets tight. Yeah,
I think so. And we've sort of spoken about the grit piece a little bit, and our leaders, I thought, really dug deep and really set the tone with that. Noah and Took and Rowley, these type of players in and around the ball. Then Colo just down back was enormous, and Powell. And then up forward you have the old stalwart and Dave Swallow come on and have two massive contest wins. He played his moments, which are really important. So we're very fortunate. We've got a great leadership group, but we've got leaders that are experienced across all lines that can make those judgments.
What is it? What have you learnt? You're nine matches in. You've had these big challenges that you've met so far. You're 7-2. Where are you at, I guess, in terms of the bigger picture?
We're excited to play against contenders and be on the winning end, which is really important, a sign of the growth I think we've come as a footy club. We probably were disappointing in these matches last year, and especially when challenged, and we probably didn't handle those moments as well as we'd like. But I think the growth in the group is there for everyone to see. We first and foremost couldn't be proud, I reckon, as a representation. There's 23 players out there, 22 really representing Took Miller, that is so important to our footy club, and for the players to get up and drag themselves over the line for that special individual was quite a significant milestone for our footy club, I think.
Does that stuff get mentioned, like the last change, or is that just something that the players are carrying with them?
Yeah, we did mention it, and we used a great line from his dad, all gas, no brakes, to use as inspiration. So, it's funny how the emotional connection, or the emotional connection, I suppose is the right word, how much it can actually be a significant importance, I think, when time of need. Like, I thought our last quarter was very good. We gave away some ordinary goals, and Marbs kicks a goal that was like, crikey, that was a pretty good one as well. So, look, it was a great game of footy, and I think both sides should be commended, and hopefully the people at home enjoyed one of the best games of the year.
2 weeks in a row up here, two very tight matches. Just how do you assess the performance up here in Darwin?
Well, we played two contenders. The Western Bulldogs are a terrific side. I think they won 3 or 4 in a row prior to this, and Hawthorn have probably been the most informed side in the contest for the last 12 months. And, I wouldn't say our second game we played consistently well, but we did enough to win, if that makes sense. There's some things that we'd like to do a little bit better, but ideally, we're just pumped to be two really good sides up here and keep our record intact.
Yeah, midfielders, you sort of mentioned them earlier, but the clearance dominance, and then the fourth quarter, Rowell and Anderson and Miller again.
Yeah, they really got to work, didn't they? I think Rowley's last quarter was enormous, and we'd have played the whole last quarter, and we sort of knew that with Moyle we'd have he'd do some heavy lifting early, then come home pretty strong if we got that look, and we were really pleased with how that played out. And there's players that had significant contributions, although they didn't have big nights. Mally Roses was a guy that probably struggled a little bit early, but last quarter had a couple of really big contests and really clean when he needed him to be. So we were pleased with that aspect also.
And Noble has a huge game as well, leading that defensive.
Yeah, had 1,000 metres gain tonight, which is incredible. He's been, both those two boys are revelation. As I said, similar things last week. Craig Cameron and his list management and Cal Burns went to work about identifying those players that we really liked and managed to bring them into our footy club. And people are really specific, or we were really specific about what players we require, and those two boys have helped us enormously.
Often, I mean, I know you've only been here 1 year, but often the team will sort of leave Darwin and there can be a drop-off. I don't know whether it's fatigue related or whatever. What's the plan now? You've had 2 pretty taxing games in 5 days.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a break, and then we head down to Melbourne. Once again, we've sort of had a reasonable draw. I know these are counted as 2 home games sort of thing, but we've only played twice at People's First, so that's exciting for us. So we've still got a lot of home games to come. The challenge and the exciting thing about our identity piece is we win away. That's what we are striving to do, and that's one of our aims. So I think the guys have grown, from last year or the year prior or whatever that may be. I'm not too sure, but what I do know is this group is gaining belief, they're gaining momentum, and where we go is up to us.
What we see is the Suns really buy into the territory. Just how proud are you with how the community's brought back into the Suns this season?
Yeah, it's great. Look, our guys love coming up here, and we're sort of, as I said last week, we're entrenched in trying to grow the game in southeast Queensland, but also up here as well, and we get terrific support by everyone. It's a unique environment. It's quite a special environment. We're very fortunate to be able to come up here. The players get to probably enjoy it a little bit more than the coaches. The coaches are down working for a long time with the 5-day break, but it is a privilege coming up here and to see, the Long family and the Rioli family and Melly Roses and Joel Jeffrey's crew. It's just, you sort of get quite emotional what football means to the Northern Territorians, I think is how you say it, but it's a special place, and we're very, very fortunate and very thankful to be a part of it.
Whose mark did you rate better out of Jedd and Ben Long?
Good question. I'd probably go Longy. Yeah, they were both pretty special marks, and there's a lot of good aerial power today. The ball was slippery, the ball was wet, but both sides I thought have really good, strong, contested marking games, and it's one of the great things about our game. That sort of stuff is on show for people to see, and I thought both sides did a wonderful job of putting a pretty good game of footy on.
How much was the Wizard concerning you?
Oh, the Wizard. He was concerning me. It's funny, my daughter helps manages him with Paul Connors sort of thing, and I'll have to give him a little burst about make sure he doesn't play so well next time. But his first half, he is a difference maker, there's no question. I thought Will Powell did an outstanding job, but the Wizard had some of these moments, and he's a pretty special player actually, so he's one of those guys I'd pay money to watch, I reckon. Thanks guys. Very hot.